Boom, we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we
Ho,
have a
ho, ho.
casual and a casual and a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Star Trek Discovery is our topic today. We're gonna have a discussion about the the most recent short treks, The Brightest Star. I already had a discussion right after it aired on Text Treks channel, so go check that out. But I like
I
to do
haven't.
one.
I'm a horrible person.
You're gonna do a cool video about it, but I like to do one on my channel because it just it's like tradition, right? Like I'm supposed to have a episode for every single
For posterity, that's what you say.
posterity, for posterity's sake. Exactly. So I'm joined by Sean from Trek on the Tube. Thank you for coming aboard once again for this exciting thing.
Ho,
How are
ho,
you
ho.
doing? I'm on antibiotics, so if I seem a little low energy, that's the reason why.
That's fine.
I went and caught a bloody Tarkarian flu. the Tarkarian. I am under the care of Dr. Crusher.
I have no
Heavily.
flu, so I'm fine. I have no flu. I will say that I was kind of like the excitement for the short trek was undercut by the Avengers Endgame trailer that was released.
It dropped on the same day. It's
I
true.
know. I was like, oh my god, Avengers!
That was a great trailer. I'm very excited about
Great trailer.
Avengers Part 2.
It is the one movie to rule them all, isn't it?
I think it will be. It's Cap says our guy Cap says this is it, right? It's got to work because I got nothing else.
Our buddy Cap. That's I think yeah. It's like, do you think it's gonna work? He's like, yeah, this has to work because this is my only solution or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I got no other plan.
Something
Whatever.
like that.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
my boy Chris Evans was crying. How dare they do that to him?
All right, so
make him feel better.
We're here to talk about The Brightest Star.
Yeah.
Who would you like the honor of doing the short trek summary? Remember, we had to try to keep
summary. Okay, so short trek summary is like 3 sentences, right? All right.
Yeah.
Short Trek's episode 3. What is it? The Brightest Star tells us the backstory or the origin story of Saru's integration into Starfleet. So essentially, we see a Kelpian village. And its inhabitants, living their daily lives on planet Kaminar. So it's explained that they're very simple people. They're almost, dare I say, a backward people. They live very primitively. And once I don't know if it's like defined, but once every now and then they have this big ritualistic sacrifice in which one of the village elders or like a priest or something sends some of the villagers off to be, I suppose, harvested by this other alpha race that we've never seen before, that we still haven't seen. And Saru kind of questions this existence. He's the only Kelpian that questions this existence and this kind of state of mind that his entire people are in.
That's a little surprising, but yeah, he is.
But he's like an exception, and so essentially a piece of technology drops off one of these beaming pods. They have these kind of probes that beams everyone away or vaporizes them, whatever, harvests them, and so a piece of technology falls off, and he manages to create a communication system with this and communicate with someone outside of his planet. It so happens that he was communicating with Captain Philippa Giorgio, which turns up, rolls up in a shuttle. Tells him that he's exceptional, that he is essentially the brightest star of his species, and she's managed to pull some strings over at Starfleet HQ. And in this very peculiar, very unique situation, they have found that the solution was to remove Saru from his planet. So they give him a choice. It's like either you stay on this planet and exist with your people, either we take you away from it, we can like show you more. But the deal is you'll never be able to come back. Because there is the Prime Directive. This is a species that is non-aligned with the Federation. They can't really intervene with it. And considering this isn't like an official cry for help from his species, I think they don't have the authority to come in and police everything. So that's the deal. So then Saru leaves with Burnham. Saru leaves with Giorgio, and there we
Lieutenant
go.
Jojo.
And we see his sister see him leave, and his sister is probably one of the most like she's the secondary character of this episode. I think she gets undercut by the arrival of Giorgio. We kind of forget about her, but he does have some tender moments with his sister.
I think this is the best done of the short trek so far.
I agree.
I
Okay, I
like
think Runaway was absolute ass. It was just dreadful, so that doesn't count. I think Calypso was a nice try, but it lacked in.
But it was
I don't know.
intriguing. I remember us being like talking a lot about the world,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like
Fair enough.
you know what I'm saying. Like it was like interesting to think about what the landscape was, right?
It
Yeah.
is. It is. But it was like in itself, it was a bit of an underwhelming project in the sense that you didn't really know why it was there, or what its purpose was. This it has a purpose to explain Saru and better understand his race and his species. And I think it was like the best executed. It also doesn't feel cheap because it's not on the USS Discovery. I know that it's a thing in Star Trek to reuse sets, and they've always done this. Every iteration of Star Trek has done it. But to actually go out there and build sets and props and take the time to invest money and time into the short Trek episode makes
Oh,
it feel like it's more important.
that amazing CGI shot at the very end when he climbs up the mountain and you
Mm,
see his village below
mm,
was breathtaking. I was like, oh, that's
I
like
agree.
super
There is
cinematic.
one
Like,
that was terrible though.
oh,
There is one CGI shot that is friggin' hideous because it looks like
oh, I
PS3 graphics there. But I love how PS3 is terrible graphics now. But anyway,
got
no, there was one that like that one shot where they're all of the Kelpians are around the probe or the harvesting machine. It's like shot from the beach or from the ocean or something, and everyone's CG'd before they disappear.
gotcha. Okay,
Didn't look
maybe I
very
didn't
good.
know. I didn't
It's
notice
very
that.
quick. It's very quick, and then it has the flash and everything. But just before that, it wasn't. But then I don't. It's a short trick, right?
Right.
So I
But
think
this is the
the props and the
vibe.
sets were really amazing. But this is what we're
But
looking for.
this is, I think, the vibe that you're looking for. It enhances the actual story, and it gives you in depth in a character that you maybe doesn't maybe you don't want to have a whole episode devoted to
It
this. Yeah.
justifies the fact that he's the only Kelpian that we've ever seen.
Right.
But it also it brings up more questions. Like by the time we get to the Starfleet, by the time we get to the Old Man Picard show, right, which is what
Mhm.
200 maybe 200 years later,
Yeah.
have the
Wait.
Kelpians.
Is it that long? No, it's about. Oh yeah, you're right.
It
It's like
is
180. 200. It is. It's gonna be 200.
okay.
200 some odd years later.
This short tricks, I'm assuming, takes place 10 to 15 years before Discovery because Saru does go through Starfleet Academy, which is 4 years. He's been like what 7 years on the USS Shenzhou.
Mm-hmm.
So there's at least at minimum like 11 years. Plus he went to like commander, so that's a lot of ranking. There's 10
Right,
to
and
15.
we don't actually know how long Kelpians live or anything
No,
like
we don't.
that. So yeah.
Anyway, so there's like 2240s or something, and Old Man Picard will be taking place in like the 25th century, so like 2401 was
Right,
it?
it's
I
true.
think they said. Anyway, so 200 years later, it would be really interesting to see like, okay, I would want the Old Man Picard show to be about this now, like just finally the Kelpians have evolved over 200 years, right? And they're sending out this distress signal, and they're doing like they're actually asking the Federation for help officially. And so
Yeah.
now they send Old Man Picard in to like help this alien race because now they're an official warp capable race that are asking for help because they're being enslaved by another warp capable race. And Prime
How
Directive doesn't apply.
horrible.
You can actually come in now.
How horrible would it be if you find out that like the Baul, the unseen villain in this episode, but how horrible it would be if you find out like the Baul are actually like selling hors d'oeuvres and they don't tell you what's in it. Like it doesn't
That's what
say
they do in
Kelpian.
the
It's just like It's like no, but like
They
actually
allied
like
themselves with the Terran Empire just to sell them
they
food, right?
they don't know. They've been selling Kelpian meat everywhere, and people think they're eating chicken or something, or like pate. They're having a
Oh my God.
pate,
Oh, the
but they've been
biggest
eating
scam in the
Kelpian.
galaxy. How horrible would it be if, like, so the Baul is the name that the Kelpians have given these like alpha species. How horrible would it be if you actually found out that the Baul are like, I don't know, some other species that we know about, but we've never heard of their home planet, and we thought they were nice people.
Oh, that would be
And
pretty bad
it's like,
too.
oh shit, like we thought these guys were good, but they're not. They're horrible people, right?
There's some interesting things about the Kelpian home planet Kaminar. We were wondering would the other species be the Kaminarians or the whatever,
I would
because
think so. Yeah. It's an
you would think so.
android
But I
ANOS
mean,
situation, isn't it?
it's interesting because we don't say Earthling often in Star Trek. Usually, you refer to people from Earth as being human, right? It's
Human.
strange, human, and they say human all the time. But in fact, we are Earthlings. So maybe Kelpians, it's kind of the same way. It's the kind of the same thing where, like, yeah, they might say we're Kaminarians on occasion, but mostly Kelpian is like
Calamari.
saying human. Kaminar. Have you ever heard of Camelot, the musical Camelot?
God. Yes.
That's all I could think about whenever I hear Kaminar. I think of Camelot, so I keep thinking
God.
Kaminar.
They must be really scary as a race. So these Kaminarians, right? They must be, because okay, think about this. They seem very like docile and submissive. These Kelpians that we see in the short treks, but it's established that Saru is ultra strong and really quick. He's really fast, and he's
Yeah.
got like this really good like sensitivity and stuff. And they're just completely submissive, like accepting of their situation. How scary are the other guys?
Oh, the
Maybe
Baul, right? Yeah.
maybe they're the Caitians from the animated series.
I don't remember
Those
the
those
Caitians.
angry cat people, those angry pirate cats.
Oh, that's okay.
They're
Now
like
I
those
do remember.
tiger cats, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. My God, you went deep there. That's crazy. Uh, who knows? It's. I think on the text track discussion, Fathery revealed that or he seemed to glean some knowledge about in season 2, I think, or maybe PJ said this, I can't remember, it was late at night, but it came up in the discussion that like there's definitely going to be a return to Kelpian story of Saru's planet or his village in season 2, and so there was some speculation we did around that. Have you heard any of that? Like, have you heard about that or anything
I
like
haven't
that?
heard of that, but that was my like. Okay, when this episode finished, my first thought was we're gonna go back to that because they invested a lot of money in all the sets, and
That's it's true.
it's like they couldn't just build all this
Let's
shit for
build
like
these
13
sets for
minutes.
nothing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, 13 minutes, and then like half of it is just Giorgio speaking to Burnham on a hill, on a cliff, right? But
in all the internet chatter that I've seen, like, and it's true that Saru's a really cherished and favorite character from fans and critics alike. So like people who don't even like Discovery are saying, well, but I do like Saru.
he's the
one of
Data, he's the
you know,
7 of 9, he's the Spock,
or Odo.
the
He's kind
Odo,
of like
he's the
that.
Odo. We all have one.
We all have we all have an Odo. Oh
No.
Could you imagine?
I mean,
Everyone's
Star
got
Trek has
Odo.
one.
Mommy, my Odo
Okay.
won't make me lunch.
What is the one from Enterprise though? 'Cause
Bad Odo.
I
No
think
bucket for you. Sorry.
oh my God, you're horrible. You're horrible. He becomes all flaky and shit. God. Is it Flux in Enterprise? Is it?
Yeah, Phlox. He's the Noblian. He's an alien, but he's not very extra. Is he strong? I don't remember.
It's not that he's strong. It's that like these characters that we're talking about are like kind of out of place characters that they're the fish out of water situation.
Yeah, then
but
I would say Phlox was definitely that way.
T'Pol?
And T'Pol, actually. There's
But is there
one
no
thing.
there's no definitive character like that on Enterprise? I don't think so, right?
No, that's actually kind of a. I think that's a kudos to Enterprise that you have like a. You don't have an obvious trope from previous series, but um, but yeah, it's interesting. I think that like the fish out of water thing, though. Now that I think, if I really think about it, it is in every iteration of Star Trek because it's a real phenomenon that it's a story that we like to talk about or tell in our fiction in
It
general.
is.
I think it's like, yeah.
It is one of those defining things that so fans of Star Trek relate to. I know that we always talk about, the diversity in Star Trek, the representation, etc. But like having that one fish out of water character, you'll see so many people talk about how they identified them like that they felt close to Spock or they felt close to Data. Um,
I
I
will
don't.
say Saru is the most interesting character for me at times, especially because they've really done a good job at making a truly alien character. Like
Mm,
I genuinely don't get Saru a lot of the time. Like it's kind of actually awesome because it stirs these like angry and kind of like deep sort of feelings to think about. Ooh, I'm being interrupted. I better.
you're being hailed.
I'm being hailed. That rarely happens on Starfleet Boy, but let me check out what's going on here.
Who's
So
hailing you?
it looks like it's my sister.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, what I was saying, which I totally
Disappointing. I thought it was like gonna be an alien or something, or Captain Georgia.
no, I thought the doctor, because he's invited, he's always invited, would pop in and be like,
He wouldn't talk about short treks.
no, the doctor, if the doctor liked Discovery or even like could stand it enough to watch it, which he does not, unfortunately, he would probably like this episode.
Mm, I think so too. It was good. It was nice. Honestly, like the storytelling was good. It was short, simple, to the point. It doesn't have like major flaws. Um, like some of the other short treks did. It doesn't leave you with these big questions. So the questions that you are left with are like interesting questions that, on the contrary, kind of this is the questions that you want from Star Trek. You're trying to build the universe more. I really want to see these aliens that have kind of enslaved them.
Yeah, I hope we see the Baul in season 2, and we don't really
Not
know.
season two. I don't. I think they rushed Saru because the whole thing with Data is his like the whole thing with Data is over the course of 7 years plus the 4 movies he becomes human, right? Or he's striving to become human. Ultimately, he does the most human thing. And you kind of have that situation with Seven in Voyager. Odo doesn't try to become human, but he's trying to find himself and make peace with the fact that he's like of a species that he fundamentally disagrees with. We have these very long stories, and I think Saru, there was this whole deal about how he's like constantly scared and afraid, and he's from a very submissive people. But then in the space of 13, 15 episodes in season 1, he becomes the most assertive and strong character they have. So much so that he takes command of the friggin' ship when the fleet admiral backs down. And I think, as much as it's cool to see him do that, and everyone was hype about the speech, I think it was done too quick. It would have had more impact, or it would have been more meaningful to me if they had done that over, the course of multiple seasons. And so I would like to see the similar thing with the planet. I would like to go back to Kaminar. I would like to see him save and free his people, but later on, not in season 2.
I think that's great. I actually don't see anything wrong with like I'm not I mean I am in a hurry to find out more, but I'm not like I think yeah, like
Let Discovery be
Discovery's
Discovery,
yeah, let it like evolve
and
over
this can be
time. I
one
think
arc that they deal
yeah.
with later.
Yeah,
But it would
I
be a nice
totally agree with
conclusion.
that.
In a sense, Discovery begins with Georgiou and Saru, and then later on it continues with Georgiou and Burnham, and then it's this adventure of these two characters, right? And so let it end like this. Let it end with the
So
ultimate death of Burnham, because
you're so terrible. I don't
they
want
will they
Burnham to
will kill
die.
her. They will.
They're not gonna kill her.
They
It's not
are.
gonna happen.
They're gonna kill
No,
her.
You're terrible. No,
I'm not terrible.
you're such
Why?
a horrible person.
Why?
Audience, let us know what you think below. Should Star Trek kill Burnham at the end of its
It's
starting
not
discovery?
should. It's not should. It's will they?
Will
Will
they?
they?
Sorry,
I
will
believe they
they?
will. I'm not
All
saying they
right, I
should.
agree.
They shouldn't kill anyone. No one
I mean, I
deserves to die.
disagree. I
But
disagree with you, sir. Um, the Admiralty is in fact calling, so I think we have to wrap up this already. I think this short trek discussions can't be long, right? Like they have to be short, right? So
it was
so
good.
we gotta wrap it up.
I like this one. There you go. Oh, do we
I
give a
liked it too.
ranking? We give a rating.
Yeah, we've been doing it. So I will go first as per tradition and say that
Okay.
this for me is a 7, a solid
Oh, wow.
7.
Okay, I would give it a 6.5.
That's great. I think it's the first above 5. No, I think
my
you did
God.
get maybe I don't know. I can't remember what you gave Calypso.
No, I don't know. Maybe I gave it a straight 5. I don't know.
All right. Well, Sean, it was a pleasure talking to you. Now I'm gonna see you in just a few more minutes because we're gonna do a costume change if I can find my hat and then come back.
See
Live
you in a
long
minute.
and prosper.
No, I gave it a 4 Calypso. So 2 4 and this is 6.5. So it is the best.
Yes,
All right.
it is the best.
Live long and
All right.
prosper.
You're simply the best.